Hi folks, welcome back to part 3 of our deck garden saga. Be sure to watch parts 1 and 2 and all our future episodes as we chronicle how we outwitted the deer. It's now March 14th, almost a month after we began building our deck garden. As you can see, we have quite a few buckets planted. We're even, fair, and balanced. We bought buckets from the other big box store. Our deck's a little messy right now, but we're still planting. Here are some plants that will be getting their new bucket homes today. We're also planting some herbs in hanging baskets attached to the deck railing. Here's a hanging basket with Greek oregano. I can't wait for spaghetti sauce made with fresh oregano. Here you see some of our tomato plants. Most of them were planted into their buckets 3 or 4 weeks ago. As I pan out, you get an overview of how our deck garden tiers are built and how well they are working. They support our plants and maximize the use of our space. Check out this tomato plant. The last time you saw it, it was about 4 inches tall. Look at it now. We planted some strawberries too. Look how lush and green this one is. These 2 Rutgers tomatoes are planted in a plastic tote made the same way as the buckets. Using totes like this means you can put more than one plant in the container. This husky red cherry tomato is developing a very strong stalk. Even with tomato cages, strong stalks are necessary to support a plant loaded with fruit. Here we have some leeks in a small terracotta pot. Leeks are kind of like green onions, but not as strong. We'll separate these into individual plants and set them out in one of the beds. Behind our green bell pepper plants, you can see that the temperature this afternoon is around 78 degrees Fahrenheit. That's pretty warm for March 14th in Atlanta. On this bucket with cilantro, we have covered the soil with black plastic. This keeps airborne weed spores from getting in the soil, and it keeps the soil surface from drying out. This is really an experiment to see if it actually works. So why are we spending all this money for buckets and potting soil and putting our garden on our deck? This is why. And this. And this. And even this. Because those critters love to eat the succulent garden veggies grown in our beds. That's why we've had to cover the beds with netting, like you see here. These are the 4 beds on the north side of our house. These are the ones that the deer feast on if they can. In this bed, we planted cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, romaine lettuce, and cilantro. This bed has younger plants of broccoli, cabbage, and Brussels sprouts. And this bed has more lettuce and space for the leeks we will plant later. The new bed we installed this year is waiting for garden soil, sand, and compost. Right now it's mostly red clay that we have tilled. And that's how our gardens look on March 14th. We have lots more planter buckets to put on our deck, and we'll show you those in future videos. Stay tuned! And here's our gardener's helper. We named him after a famous radio personality. He just started going outside, so he's a little skittish yet.